Roger Goodell, live in 30 minutes on the draft, the season, and whether or not he really will miss all those boos. All that and more as we get up with you on this very busy Wednesday, the eve of the NFL draft. Greeny here in Bristol. Delighted you are there. And to all the medical professionals, the first responders, we are forever in your debt. Our job is to entertain you for the next 2 hours. And believe me, we have plenty to do. Usually we get up and go with all the news of the day, but today one overwhelming story. Hit it. The Patriots have traded Rob Gronkowski and a 2020 7th-round pick to the Bucs in exchange for a 4th-rounder, and that reunites Tom Brady and his former tight end. Gronk's agent is Drew Rosenhaus. He was on SportsCenter yesterday evening explaining how all of this came together.
I think Rob was really interested in coming back about a month ago. Shortly after Tom Brady went to Tampa, Rob and I had a conversation that this is a situation that would be appealing to him. Obviously, this was a deal that New England had to feel good about. Tampa had to feel good about. This wasn't just about Rob. All the parties involved had to be in agreement. He loves New England. He loves the Patriots organization, Coach Belichick, the Krafts, his teammates that are still there. He had an amazing run in New England. It was just time for him to continue his career with Tom Brady in Florida, with Tampa. It was something cool and exciting and challenging for him. He's well rested and looking forward to playing with Tom again.
Now, Gronk told Fox Sports in a text, quote, "I'm back. I always said when I have that feeling and it feels right, I will be ready to take the field again, and I have that feeling. I'm ready." And Vegas has a good feeling about it. When Tampa's odds for the 2020 Super Bowl were initially released, they were 50-1. March 17th, the day Brady announced he was going there, their odds fell to 22-1. Now with Gronk in the fold, they're 14-1. That is the 5th shortest odds of any team in the NFL. We've got all the insight you could want. I've got Rex and I've got Dan with me this morning. And Orlovsky, I will start with you. How much better are the Buccaneers right now than they were 24 hours ago?
Massively. I mean, they've added another Hall of Fame caliber football player. And Greeny, a couple weeks ago, I told you this team was 3 moves away. They needed a pass-blocking offensive tackle, a pass-catching running back, and then someone that was comfortable with Tom Brady as a pass catcher that was going to work the middle of the field. I did not think it was going to be Rob Gronkowski, but now this addition allows the Bucs offense to have somebody in the middle of the field that knows Tom Brady, knows how he thinks and how he sees things. And really two areas that are going to be tremendously impacted by the addition of Gronk for this offense. And they're the 2 most important areas for an offense. 3rd down in the red zone. Gronk's impact on Tom Brady in those 2 areas is almost, he becomes like 2 times the quarterback. And so imagine now people sitting at home realizing Tom Brady's got Gronk back to work the middle of the field. And now defenses have to pay attention to that. And that's going to free up Godwin and Mike Evans, who we've talked ad nauseum about. Greeny, take the San Francisco 49ers out of the equation. They're the team to beat in the NFC. I think this move now puts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the 2nd best team in the NFC when it comes to teams to beat for everyone else for the playoffs. All
right, that's a big statement. Rex Ryan, let me come to you. You know what it's like trying to stop that combination. What do you expect it to be now with Brady at his age and Gronk having taken the year off?
Well, this isn't Gronkowski Brady 10 years ago, but as Dan talked about, on 3rd down and in the red zone, that's where this guy's going to play, and in a 2-minute situation, game on the line also. So to me, he's going to be a situational player. He doesn't have to be a full-time player. You have a budding star in O.J. Howard already on your roster. So to me, he's going to take care of the middle of the field. He's going to end up being a star. But I'm going to tell you right now, the red zone, the impact this young man has in the red zone, I don't care if he can't run anymore. It makes no difference. In the red zone, this guy's such a target. And as we talked about Mike Evans, Godwin, all those guys, they're going to be the benefactors of this as well. So to me, I think it's a huge thing. I had Tampa Bay already being the favorites in that division. We'll see now if this takes them over the top. I believe it's just a great signing. I actually can't believe it happened, though. I really can't, but here we are. It's a perfect situation. Gronk comes in. He doesn't have to be an every down player. His body won't hold up. We saw that at the end of his time in New England. He can't play full time. Yet, in a 2-minute situation, third down, red zone, where game's on the line, in those situations, this guy can still be very productive.
Really quickly, Rex, why can't you believe it happened?
I just can't, man. I mean, I looked at Gronk before, and I had talked about how he looks like he's running with a piano on his back, and he was. And for a guy that's had to defend the guy for years, I saw it. But again, this thing, Greeny, he doesn't have to play every snap. And for anybody that thinks he's going to play every snap is out of their mind. That's not going to happen. All right, this isn't basketball or baseball or something like that. This is football. It's a collision sport. All right, so to me, yeah, you heard Drew Rosenhaus talked about how his body, feels better. Yeah, he's been away from football for over a year, so it's going to feel better. But how's it going to feel in back-to-back days? Those are the things. Look, nobody retires because they lose the lust for the game. They retire because they can't recover anymore. So to me, this guy, he's in a perfect situation, man. He's going to go with Bruce Arians, who knows how to handle veteran players. All right, not some young whippersnapper that doesn't know anything. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think it's a perfect situation. Those two, the combination of Brady and Gronk, it's almost unstoppable at times. Believe me, I've been on that back end. So to me, I think it's just a great move for Tampa Bay, and I don't disagree with Dan. Are they the favorites in the NFC? They very well could be.
All right, let me bring Graziano into this conversation now as well, our NFL insider extraordinaire. Dan, because a lot of people will perceive this, the move of Brady, the move of Gronkowski, as a repudiation of Bill Belichick and the Patriot way. Is that a reasonable way to look at this?
No, I don't think it is. I think we can look at a situation and say that these two great players got to a point where they were maybe exhausted by the Patriot way. But I would caution against viewing it as some sort of apocalyptic repudiation of the Patriot system. Tom Brady played there for 20 years. Rob Gronkowski played there for 9 years. I mean, if you can endure that long, it can't be all that bad. I think both of these guys got to a point where they wanted to try something else. Rob Gronkowski got to the point where the something else was retirement and WWE and all the stuff he's been doing over the past year. Tom Brady got to the point where it was play football for a different team. You've seen other players come and go through there in shorter periods of time. You've seen other players last a long time and do a lot of winning there. And certainly we cannot look at what Bill Belichick and the Patriots have done over the past 2 decades and think there's something fundamentally wrong with it when they've done all this winning. I do wonder, looking forward, if this seeps into the reputation a little bit and increases Belichick's challenge in terms of being able to recruit people to come there. But I wouldn't bet against him, and I think it's important to underline that this isn't a couple of great players that were there for just their rookie contracts and decided they needed to get out.
No, that's obviously true. I'm going to sort of put a bookmark in it right there because we're going to come back to the Patriots side of this much more a little bit later in the program. But, of course, that's only one of our 2 top stories this morning because tomorrow night is the NFL draft. And the big question remains about the quarterbacks at the top. Where does Tua go? At most sports books right now, Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert has jumped in front of Tua as the favorite to be the second quarterback off the board. Could it happen? Of course it could happen, and Tua's college coach Nick Saban knows it well. He was interviewed by the Wall Street Journal. He said he thinks it would be a mistake for teams to pass on Tua. He said, quote, remember, he was the coach of the Dolphins when this happened. He said, quote, we failed Drew Brees on the physical. That's why he's not Miami's quarterback. The sky is the limit for Tua. I don't think any of the questions with Tua have to do with his ability to throw the ball and to be effective. So, Dan Graziano, let me come quickly back to you here as far as what you're hearing right now. Tua or Herbert, which do you expect to be the second quarterback off the board tomorrow night?
If I had to put a bet down right now, I think I would bet on Tua, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he ends up being Miami's guy in the end. So I would say he's probably the guy that goes first.
And that would be Miami. So no trading up. You look at it 5 for Tua and then reasonably 6 to Herbert in the Chargers. Does that feel like right now the way you anticipate it going?
I don't anticipate the Chargers trading up at this point. I don't think Miami feels like it has to. So if it stays where it is, again, if I had to put a bet down, I would say probably Tua to Miami. And then the Chargers, if they take quarterback, probably Herbert, but I'm not sure that they will. There's a lot of chatter going around right now. There are people that think that Miami likes Jordan Love and could wait till later in the round, but that would be very risky for them to do that, knowing they need to come out of this with a franchise quarterback. And of course, there's always the possibility of some surprise team trading up, getting in front of these teams and taking a quarterback as well. But I think at this point, the way things stand, that's the way I would lean in terms of a prediction on Wednesday morning.
Okay, so let me get not only Rex and Dan Orlovsky back here, but Laura's with us as well here now. So Laura Rutledge, again, you've been around this and around Tua from the very beginning. So I would ask you two questions here. What do you expect? Who do you expect to be the second quarterback taken tomorrow night? And who does Tua expect to be the second quarterback taken tomorrow night?
Well, as you heard Graziano just saying, it's so hard to figure this out right now. And this happens every year in the draft. I think it's particularly odd this year just because of the current situation in our country right now. And right now, if you pin me down, I would have to say that I think Herbert might go before Tua, and then Tua would go right after him at that sixth pick. And as for what Tua thinks and the people around him, the people close to him, they are at this point very comfortable with every single thing that they've put out there as far as revealing that he has nothing to hide with his injury situation. They also continue to say the teams that have been positive from the get-go are still positive. They've gotten great feedback from his interviews. We haven't talked that much about that. It's been mostly around the injury situation. But there were always going to be teams that were not going to be willing to take the risk on Tua and therefore say, you know what, he's not in the mix for us. But the teams that have been willing and are absolutely in love with the way that he throws the football and the way that he could offer up a franchise quarterback type situation for their organization,